Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. We're really pleased to be able to bring you the show from Gertrude's Writing Room on Monmouth Road in Windsor. Gertrude's Writing Room offers a wide variety of writing workshops and mentoring for aspiring writers. And we want to thank Vanessa Shields, my lovely friend, for inviting us here to record our show. And now let's meet our first guests. Justine Dowsett and Miranda Damodred are co-founders of Mirror World Publishing. In addition to running a publishing company, though, Justine and Miranda have written a number of books together. Wonder how that goes, including Mirror's Deceit. Justine and Miranda, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. You're busy women.
Yes, very busy.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves individually. What's your background?
So my background's in theater.
And you're Justine?
Yes, I'm Justine. My background's in theater. I went to school at the University of Windsor, and I took that theater degree and worked in video game production for a little while.
Wow.
Kind of a strange segue, but anytime you produce something, it's really the same kind of process. So I did that, and then when that company decided to move, I didn't want to go with it. I was First Stage Studios. And I took the entrepreneurial skills I had learned from them, along with my personal writing, decided to combine the two, and Miranda urged me to basically follow my dreams. So we opened Mirror World Publishing.
So how did you sort of get into all of this?
I also did like drama and communications, and nothing came of it. So then I went back to school for medical lab tech, and now I'm back for nursing, and I popped out 2 kids in the middle.
Oh, not at all busy. What put I'd like to be a publisher in your brain? I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
That's more like her dream.
Oh.
I love to write, and I like role playing. I love character development, but she really likes doing like the editing, all that stuff. I can do that too, but she's the guru over here. So I kind of just pushed her. I'm like, you know what? We can do it. Like, I'll do it with you. And so that's why we co-founded it, because it's like to give her a push.
Yeah.
Miranda's really been my inspiration the whole time. So when she's like, no, you can do this, go for it, like, I'll have your back. That was really what started it.
Yeah. So now the two of you get together and you decide you're going to do this. I mean, what's the next step?
The publishing company?
Yeah.
Well, we decided to launch our book, Mirror's Hope, which is the first in the series that Mirror's Deceit is a part of. And we used that really to launch the company. From there, we took on other authors and kind of opened it up to look for things that were similar so we could kind of build a brand.
And so your Mirror titles, is that, what made you call your publishing company Mirror?
Because of that original book, Mirror's Hope is the name of it, and it features 2 parallel universes that are side by side. The characters travel between the 2 of them, so it not only represents the balance and the yin and the yang that we kind of have, but it also has to do with escaping to another world, kind of showing the reader something they've never experienced before, and then bringing them back. So reflecting the real world through fiction.
It's like this world is only the beginning.
There's so many things to talk about, and I'm going to jump right to your book because I read Mirror's Deceit last night, and
that's an undertaking.
And I must say I had to keep it straight because I was fascinated by where they were and then where they weren't, and then who they were with and then who they weren't with. So now, how did you come up with these characters? I mean, the names Marina, Caroline, Tendro, Panache, Abraxas. Like, do you just sort of start writing down letters and come up with something?
It again comes from that role-playing background. This is one of the stories that we started way back when. Just passing back and forth as like a role-playing kind of exercise, I guess, and it just evolved.
And we kind of rebooted it. Like, we had the role-playing game, rebooted it to see what we could do with it.
It's really interesting how theatre can really help with your character development. Because that's such a huge part of theatre, isn't it?
Yeah, theatre can really translate into a lot of different careers or industries. You don't think about it, but just the mentality of like the show must go on, and you learn so much from like those kind of lessons.
Yeah,
it's really helped us a lot in all of everything that we do, I would think.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the book. Give our viewers a little synopsis of sort of some of the characters and what they do.
Okay, so it's
But
really
don't give too much away because you want them to buy the book.
yeah, it's the third in their series. You can read it first because it is sort of like a prequel. It happens before the other two, but essentially it's a story of two anti-heroes who are trying to get ahead in life, and then there is another character who considers herself the hero, which is Caroline, who has come back in time from the future, from a dystopia, and she decides that she's going to prevent these two people from gaining power because she believes they've ruined the world. So it's a rivalry between these three characters and her trying to intercede in their lives.
It's kind of like a book like about the antagonist, which is, we kind of wanted a different spin on it. Like putting you in the place of the bad guy, and are really they the bad guy?
Right, because there were times when I thought someone was the bad guy, then he didn't seem so bad.
Yeah.
And you sort of get invested in the character, and you don't want him to become the bad guy.
Right.
And did you have a difficulty keeping the going in one mirror and in the other mirror straight?
By the time we reached the third book, and now we've written the fourth one, yes. But at the beginning, it started out quite clear. But it being a 4-book series, it's just grown organically.
You don't even want to see the timeline.
I was going to ask you if you actually wrote that down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So we came up with the idea for the series. We wanted to write 2 books that were on the one mirror world, and the other 2 books are on the other side. So Mirrors to Seed is the other side. So you're missing the first half of the story. You can still follow it, obviously, from just reading to Seed. But yeah, it's really the balance between the two. If you read the whole series, you get all the little pieces, and all those little jigsaws get explained.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first one is
Mirror's Hope.
Mirror's Hope. And then
Mirror's Heart.
Oh.
And then this is Mirrors to Seed. And the last one's Mirrors Despair, which will be out next year.
Right. Despair.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and read from the beginning because I mean, even though, as you say, you can pick it up and read Mirrors to Seed and really sort of get a good sense of the characters.
Right.
But it's always helpful. And so, and this is really sort of telling our viewers to start from the beginning and read all 3.
Right. Yeah, but you could read this one first and then Despair second and then read the other 2. It doesn't matter which order you read them. You're still going to get all those pieces.
Hope, and then that one, and then Heart.
Oh, so it won't confuse you?
No.
No.
They're written to be kind of 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So you can
Or
kind of
1,
read
2,
them.
1, 2.
Yeah, read them however you like. They all fit together.
So it's like prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, of each other, but they're not.
Yeah.
What response do you get to these characters?
People really like the romantic aspect of it. It's a fantasy and romance blend. So some people read it for the fantasy and the intrigue and the politics, and some people really like the romance. We get a lot of compliments on the romance. People fall in love with Tendro or fall in love with,
Yeah, who writes the sex?
It gets really awkward.
Awkwardly, we both do. Yeah. Funny story, actually. The very first sex scene we ever wrote together in Mirrors Hope, it took us, I think it was 9 or 10 shots to get through.
I'm like hardcore alcohol.
So it was garbage, and we had to go back and rewrite it. But
It just made it worse.
yeah.
Do you write them together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. And do you call on personal experience?
Well, I think you have to.
But they're not sort of ugly.
No.
The scenes are not ugly.
No.
It's interesting. One of my guests will be someone who writes horror, and I interviewed a horror writer before, and writing sex in a horror book is really quite interesting. But writing it in fantasy, you can sort of polish it up a bit.
Yeah, we like to
Right?
think of it as cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not raunchy or anything.
No, it's kind of like a nice gloss over of
Right.
yeah.
But you get the message.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of messages, we're going to pause and then I'll come back. And I want to sort of talk a little bit more about the whole publishing end of your business. And because, I mean, the writing part is fun. I want to find out how much fun the publishing part is. Well, let's listen to some music. Karen Morand is a singer-songwriter from Windsor who's been entertaining fans for years. Karen and her band Bosco, which includes Aaron Volthurst and Benny Santoro, have been described as the best alternative country hillbilly gospel band around. Karen's just released a new CD titled Every Flash of Light. Here she is now with Bosco performing Arms of Love.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doorway, fill the room with sounds of your crooked clanging hearts. That's a good place to start. Oh yeah, come just as you are, with your worn out shoes and muddy blues, showing off your scars. Life has been unkind, but you'll find kindness, yes. And it's not such a long, long way back home. No, it's not such a long, long way to the arms of love. Well, brothers, sisters, children one and all, hiding in the shadows, get up from that fall and meet me at the tree house, where we can all stand tall. And it's not such a long, long way back home. No, it's not such a long, long way to the arms of love. It's closer than you think. Free your mind, free your mind. It's closer than you think. Free your mind, free your mind. It's closer than you think. Free your mind, free your mind. Yeah, it's closer than you think. Free your mind, free your mind. And it's not such a long, long way back home. No, it's not such a long, long way to the arms of love.
That was Windsor singer-songwriter Karen Morand with her just released CD, Every Flash of Light. Well, Well, I'm here on the show right now with Justine Dowsett and Mirandi Damadred, two very interesting women who actually write together, work together, and publish together. There's a lot of togetherness in your partnership. So, once a book is done, who gets the final, okay, I'm good?
That would be me. Yeah. I will take it and usually leave it in a drawer for a month, kind of thing. Come back to it and do the first edit, I guess, the first look through, and kind of just polish up the sentences, kind of blend the two voices together, just make sure it all sounds like one person writing it. And then once I'm satisfied with it, it'll go to my husband, Robert, who will do our first eyes on it, other than ourselves. And he's really good. He's been with the series since the beginning, so he'll give really good feedback. And he's got this like 20-page document that tells him all the details of everything, so we don't have any inconsistencies in the story. So thank God that he loves to organize.
Yeah, because it's a lot to keep track of.
It is. Running a series is a lot.
So, publishing. Now, do you publish your own books?
We publish our own books. We also publish other authors. We've been in business about 5 years now, and we have 15, going on 18 actually, authors with us.
Where are your authors from?
All over the world, though we try to keep half of them at home here in southwestern Ontario.
So, sort of what countries come to mind?
Yeah, we have a number of them from the States, and then we have about 3 or 4 from the UK now.
What's that like?
I like it because it's like having a network of people who all care about the same company or all have that same brand, and they're spreading our name in their location as well. So we're kind of growing in that kind of satellite regions, I guess.
Yeah.
Google Documents is your friend.
Yeah, that too. The internet in general, but Google Documents has been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And what is it? Do they all write fantasy?
So it's anything that's escapism fiction. So it's fantasy primarily, but we also do science fiction, romance, adventure. We do all ages. We have kids books, we have middle grade, teen, and then adult as well.
Yeah. Did you have to come up with a lot of money to start a publishing company?
No, not really, because we did everything ourselves, and we're very much coming from an entrepreneurial background. We put a lot of effort in, more so than money. Our major expense at the beginning was the branding, and then our first big print run.
And the artwork.
Oh yeah, sorry, and our covers.
Right.
Covers cost the most.
Yeah.
Right. That gets very expensive.
Yeah.
So when you get a book in, and you send it back to the author, do you get how much feedback do you get?
It depends on how much the book needs. Each book has its own individual needs. Each author has a particular combination of things that they need help with, I guess. So just each project's different.
We have a lot of like readers, like extra readers. They're beta readers, so we get a lot of feedback through betas.
Sometimes we'll send it out to a team at like beta test readers to go through it and give feedback so the author has some sort of idea of what they're going to hear when the book comes out.
Right.
So they're prepared for that and they can make the changes in advance.
Yeah. Are there books that you've refused to publish?
Oh, yeah.
Many.
We open our submissions in November every year, and usually from November till the end of the year. And we will get hundreds and hundreds of submissions like the first day alone. So, we comb through them for about 2 months and make our decisions. And we only publish up to 5-6 books a year.
Yeah.
How do you make that decision? I mean, do you have to read them all, or do you read synopsis?
Yeah, we read samples. Yeah. So usually it's the first 3 chapters. But we're looking for something that really draws the reader in right away. So you can usually tell in the first couple pages if something's going to be a mirror world book.
Right.
It's got to draw the reader right in. It's got to create some sort of different world or an escapist kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And has that potential that we're really looking for.
Normally you can tell right away, and if not, there's a bunch of us, so you kind of be like, take a look at this, please.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when people write kids' books, do you use the same criteria for kids' books?
Yes.
That it has to be that fantasy?
Yep. It has to feature some other world or some twist on our world that really shows the reader something different. And again, has to really engage the reader. So by the first page, you need to be really drawn into the story.
Yeah.
Do you have very young writers? Do you know? Or are they mostly adult?
Mostly adult.
Mostly adults.
Yeah. think the youngest would be in their 20s. I can't think of
Are there
any.
many guys who write fantasy?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
50-50.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, did you have fantasy writers you liked to read?
Yeah. We are both big fans of Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan.
Right?
Bishop.
Anne Bishop, probably one of our favorite authors as well.
Black Jewel trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of them, and a lot of them are influences for us too.
Yeah.
Like Outlander by Diana Gabaldon.
Right.
Yeah.
There was another writer, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, Marion Zimmer Bradley. I think she's very good.
Yes, yeah. The Mists of Avalon.
Yes,
Yeah.
Miss of Avalon. I think that was the first sort of fantasy that I read.
Right.
Yeah, but it's around that thick.
Yeah. It's an amazing book though.
There was one thing I forgot to ask you about, the magic generator.
Yes.
How'd you come up with that?
So I like a lot of things that are science fiction and fantasy blended together. So I like to think, what is science but magic that we don't, what is magic but science that we don't understand? So the people would see it as magic. So it's like, well, what if magic powered the society? So that's kind of where I went with it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Can you make money being a publisher in this?
You can.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a very tough industry. As I said, we've been in business 5 years, so we're starting now to kind of see those returns. But it's been a long road.
Yeah. Do you have your own place?
We don't have a physical location yet. No, we have a home office and an online store, so you can buy any of our books online. We deliver for free in Windsor, Essex, which has been good for us.
So, what's sort of down the road? Where do you want to land?
Yeah. It's
Top.
yeah. It's just about spreading that brand, getting awareness out there, so people know we exist, and we're really trying to develop it as a community of readers. So people who like escapism fiction, who like to really dive into their books and find new worlds to explore, we're trying to attract those people and tell them, if you like one book of ours, you're going to like all of them because they're all in that vein. So that's really what it is. We have a membership program as well, kind of like Netflix, but for books. So it's like $20 for the year. You unlimited access to our whole collection and a few other different perks.
Now, so you've got a well-developed website.
Yeah.
And what can people see on your website?
So the website itself is mostly for the publishing side, but if you go to the bookstore, you'll find all the books and all the different titles. And we try to make it look sort of like Amazon, so you get a sample of each book, a little excerpt, a little bit about the authors, and any images. A lot of our books are illustrated. So
Yeah. Now, it can be really difficult for authors to get their books marketed. Do you help with that, or is that?
Oh, no, we definitely do. Yeah, we consider any relationship we have with an author to be a partnership. So everything we do is 50-50, including splitting the royalties. So that's how we built our business.
Yeah.
So we partner with the author to do the marketing, to build the book, and to sell the book and go from there.
Do you arrange tours, or do they go out and?
Online.
Yeah, we do online book tours. We do social media tours, blog tours, that sort of thing. And then in their own location, they're encouraged to attend events locally or do their own tours locally.
So tell me how an online tour works.
So we have someone who handles our PR, which is wonderful. And she will essentially have a bunch of connections with different bloggers and social media people. And she'll send them the information and say, would you like to host this person on your blog for the day? And she'll arrange everything, send all the information out. And then usually it's a period of a week and it'll be featured on a different blog each day or a handful of blogs each day.
How successful is that kind of tour?
It gets the people who read reviews about books. So those kind of people who look for other people's opinions to find out what to read next, it gathers those.
Yeah, and does it help sell the book?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it generates awareness that it's come out, or we do cover reveals online. So, trying to drum up some interest that way.
How important is that whole online world for publishers and writers?
Nowadays it's indispensable because that's how people hear about books, generally speaking. You don't see a lot of books featured on TV or on the radio anymore unless it's like self-help or nonfiction or something. Yeah, but for genre fiction, you find it online usually.
Are there sort of big promoters? Are there people you say to an author, we've got to get you on that site?
No, not particularly. No. Goodreads is like a library thing, which is our two sites that we use to find reviewers. I think that's maybe more what you're talking about. You find the people that are willing to read the book and leave commentary, so that way that commentary can spread.
Yeah. So now how can someone submit a manuscript? What should they do?
Yeah, all of our information's on the website, and under the tab says submissions, and we try to be as clear as possible. But as I said, our submissions are open from November 1st till the end of the year. So we just passed it now. But yeah, we give feedback on any submissions that we receive, which...
Wow.
Yeah.
How long does that take?
It takes a bit of time, but we always hire a team around that time of year, and we're very thorough.
Wow.
You get a schedule sent to you, you're like, oh.
Yeah. But we wanted to do something different as a small press to be able to provide something back to the community. So we don't just say no, we always tell you why, and we always give you some tips on what you can do next to improve.
Well, that certainly sets you apart.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Because usually you just sort of get a rejection letter and just add it to the other 500
and I find
on your
that
wall.
That can be soul crushing because you don't know what
soul crushing.
You don't know what you're doing wrong. So at least we're letting people know, here's some steps you can take, or let them know if their book's not ready or if it's just not the right fit for us. Yeah. That makes a big difference.
Like we point them to like different companies maybe they should look at to publish with.
But for writers, it's so important to run into a publisher who actually cares about your work and cares about the fact that you're so, writers are so invested.
Yeah. Well, being writers ourselves, we definitely know that. I think that was our big push to really go that way when we opened the company. And because of that, we also have a blog and a YouTube channel where we give advice to beginners for who are just trying to break into the publishing market. So it's not only writing advice, it's also publishing advice. It's how to prepare your query letter and your submission and that sort of thing.
It also helps because we've also went through all of this, like we put ourselves through it when we put our books through it. So when people are like, oh, well, you don't have to change your book because you're like, you have it there and you're publishing yourself. I'm like, I've been called depraved and I've had to like rewrite like a book. So we've been through the ringer, so that also helps. We know what it's like.
Yeah, we put our own books through the same process that any other book goes through. We give it to the team of test readers. We make sure it goes through 3 or 4 rounds of editing. Like it's
we don't have finals. We let the beta readers tell us what's wrong.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. It's just been tremendous. But are you having fun?
Yeah.
That's terrific.
It's a passion project, so if we weren't having fun, we wouldn't be doing it.
Congratulations. I hope you just continue to do really, really well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of another show. Thank you so much to Vanessa Shields for her hospitality, which we'll take advantage of for another show. Thank you to our guests, Justine Dowsett and Morandi Demodred. Thank you, Brian and Gary, and a big thank you to you for watching. Until next time, this is Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel.